So the AI industry has hit a wall and cracks are starting to show everywhere. OpenAI's ChatGPT 5.1, underwhelming. Andrej Karpathy, who built AI for Tesla and OpenAI, he's saying that we're decades away from real AI agents. Apple's research team, well, they just proved that LLMs can't actually reason. And Tim Dettmers at Carnegie Mellon, he's showing us we're about to slam into the physical limits that no amount of money can solve. So AGI from LLMs, it's not going to happen. Scaling to superintelligence, physics says no. Today I'm going to break down why the royal road to AGI that everyone's selling is actually a dead end and what AI is actually going to end up being. And we'll talk a lot about this today because we're building a lot of AI stuff for all of our different customers. And so let's dive into this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Hack, we love to build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so the AI hype train has been running at full speed, promising AGI is just around the corner. And Sam Altman was talking about solving world poverty and curing cancer. Now the narrative is quietly changing. We're going to talk about why the path everyone thought would lead to AGI is actually taking us nowhere fast. So we're going to start off today with our very favorite AI skeptic, Gary Marcus. I got two articles from Gary Marcus here for you. Game over, AGI is not imminent, and LLMs are not the royal road to getting there. Now, if you definitely want to rag on AGI, Gary's your guy. So first and slowly, then all at once, dreams of LLM bringing us to the cusp of AGI have fallen apart. June 2025, the Apple reasoning paper confirmed that even with reasoning, LLMs still can't solve distribution problems. August, GPT-5 came late and fell short. September 2025, Turing Award winner Rich Sutton, known best for RL and his bitter lesson, thanked me for my critiques of LLMs and agreed. October 2025, Andrej Karpathy, a widely respected machine learning expert who once ran AI for Tesla and twice worked for OpenAI, said agents aren't anywhere close and that AGI is decades away. October 25, Nobel laureate and Google DeepMind, Sir Demis Hassabis, just threw up some wildly overhyped claims about OpenAI's Sebastian Bubeck about math. He said, at first I thought ChatGPT-5 would crack the math problems on its own. Turns out GPT-5 just looks like it answers via the web search. We really need better peer review for these AI discover science and math. Embarrassing indeed. LLMs have had their place, but anyone expects the current paradigm to be close to AGI is delusional. Agree with that. Now, electricity bill nobody can pay. The mathematics of AI collapse. So let's start with something concrete. Electricity. It's the one cost in AI that can't be optimized away, negotiated down, or hand waved with economics of scale. So the power draw is 0.3 to 0.5 watts per hour. At commercial electricity rates, that's 3 cents to 8, microcents here, but that seems trivial at first until you scale it. Daily free queries about 500 million. That means that's $15,000 to $40,000 of daily electricity. Annual electricity for inference is 5.5 to 13 million. That's if you have about 500 million users. But that's just inference. Include training, failed experiments, model testing, etc. Total annual consumption, 150, 30 million, right? Current revenue from free users, 0. So this is just the free user tier, right? So for inference training and all of that, you're at almost $1 trillion, right? Just $500 billion just to manage your free users, right? Then you get into the base users that are about 20, and you got about 170 to 180 million, right? Paid users 8 to 10 million. So the free tier makes about 94 to 95%. Now revenue from pay users 2 to 3 billion. Cost to serve paid users 70 to 90 million. Other operational costs 2 billion. Annual cost 4 to 5 billion. Free tier alone is 6 to 10% of their entire operating margin. Now it goes through and breaks all of these different ones down, and this is really in depth. But that was just taking one of them, right? So it goes through a lot of math, and there's a ton of math here. So the really base synopsis here is the $600 billion bet that was AI could be a consumer product at scale. The electricity bill alone proves it can't be, at least not as a free service. We have about 12 to 18 months before the math forces everyone's hand. Now, again, this is just a little bit of math, right? Lots and lots of math. And you go through and look at his math, and I checked, and it's check all of it, but I spot check a bunch of it. He's right. We're about 12 to 18 months, and we're already starting to see that, and that's part of the bubble starting to leak or burst, right? AI that we'll have after the AI, cheap GPUs, unemployed engineers, and open source models. Now, I don't know about a lot of this, but I agree with some of this here. When the AI bubble pops, what will remain? Cheap GPUs at fire sale prices, skilled application, applied statistics looking for work, and open source models that will do impressive things but will grow far more impressive after being optimized. That I actually completely agree with. Here at Startup Pack, we're building a lot of custom software solutions for different companies. And as we're working on these, we're using inexpensive hardware. So not H100s, not clusters of hundreds of thousands of dollars GPUs. We're talking some hardware between $1,000 to $10,000 to build. So relatively, reasonably priced to build out to start to do some pretty crazy impressive things. The things that we've been able to pull off for a $1,000 to $1,500 server. And if you don't understand, you can go check out. I've got a whole playlist on how you can build some of your own AI servers, and we give tons of free code samples here on the channel. So so take a look at those. We drop a new programming video every week. So make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, my favorite thing is when you leave a comment. But at any rate, we're doing a lot of pretty crazy things. So I agree with him entirely here. I think we're going to see a lot more impressive things happen after we see these be optimized. And that's what we're working on here. So at $45 billion a year, an inflated number, remember, it's going to take a long time to recoup the hundreds of billions of dollars they've spent so far, but don't have a long time. The massive GPUs that power AI's foundational models and cost 6 to 7 figures each burn out remarkably quickly. Now, whether they burn out or not, they're irrelevant after 5 to 6 years, unless somebody like myself can take one of those and make something useful out of them, right? So when the companies run the GPUs really hard, they burn out in just 54 days. Now, I think this is a stretch. These are designed to be run really hard, and we've run some lower-end hardware very hard for weeks at a time. It says they have to bring in $2 trillion before all those GPUs burned out, which is, again, about 2 to 3 years. Now, between 2 to 3 years, they're definitely going to see some of them burn out. Now, I think 54 days is, I would call that a defective card. But so his very final synopsis here is even after modest efforts at optimize can yield incredible performance gains. DeepSeek, the legendary open, which kind of end up stealing a lot of their stuff, consumes a fraction of resources gobbled up the likes of OpenAI. Now let's go down here toward the bottom. To hit his final synopsis here. There's going to be a lot of this AI after the AI goes away. And this kind of AI he's talking about is stuff like what we're building here at Startup Pack, real, useful AI tools that are built for a very specific domain capability without trying to reach to AGI, which is the premise that I'm getting to here. Everybody thinks that I'm talking about that AGI is not, we're not going to hit AGI, and they're like, oh, you're just hating on AI. No, I'm an AI realist. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with AI, and I can help your company build some really cool AI stuff. So you can check out startuppack.com if you want any help with that. Next, $1.5 trillion AI trust gap is real. More than half of employees don't believe that AI is going to pay off for them. It's expected that tech companies are going to wind up spending a whopping $1.5 trillion on AI in 2025. It's a lot of chatbots. Amazon is leading the way at $100 billion, and major player Oracle, Microsoft, Meta, and Alpha round out a group of mega caps that will plunk down to $320 billion, more than a fifth of the overall spend. It makes that $20 for Cloud Pro seem like a bargain, right? So I've been a builder of AI tools since 2010, and I've been sounding the alarm on how we've been selling AI to both business and consumers since ChatGPT debuted in 2022. There's a massive disconnect brewing between sellers of AI and buyers of AI, because while executives continue to rubber stamp high-dollar AI investments, more than half of all workers didn't trust their workplace AI to benefit them. Over the last 6 months or so, an interesting phenomenon is happening across what we're now calling the AI sector. As more regular people like you and me have more time to react to the integration of these AI tools into our lives, we're finally able to figure out the limitations where AI should be used, and more importantly, where it shouldn't be used. I agree with him. Let's skip down here to a synopsis at the bottom. Otherwise, tech employees aren't children. They've already figured this out. If we want to trust the AI gap, it's time to start being reasonable about what the AI endgame should really be. Otherwise, untrusting employees who see AI as a liability and not a benefit will end up going somewhere else, somewhere that will invest in them, not chatbots. And those AI first companies will discover their billion-dollar AI investments create a resentment toward productivity. And that's one of the things here is, like at Startup Pack, I work with my employees all the time and tell them, look, we need to use AI to make you more productive, but I'm not forcing you to use in places that don't make sense. All right. Oh, my favorite thing. St- and we lost the article. Never mind that then. Guess they don't get their article plugged. Okay. Neither of these ones either. All right. So Andrej Karpathy says, my pleasure to come on Dwarcast last week, and I thought the question and conversation were really good. I rewatched the pod just now. First of all, yes, I know. I'm sorry that I speak so fast. He's not the only one. I actually felt better when I read this because both Andre and I talk really fast. It's to my detriment because sometimes my speaking thread it executes my thinking thread. So my speaking thread out executes my thinking thread. So I think I botched a few explanations due to that. And sometimes I was so nervous that I'm going too much on a tangent or too deep into something really spurious. Anyways, a few notes pointers. I do the same thing. I get really nervous, talk really fast. Look, I know a lot of times when you guys listen to YouTube, you have to listen to it on 2x. I doubt anybody can really listen to me on 2x. Anyways, AGI timelines. My comments on AGI timelines look to be the most trending part of the early response. This is the decade of agents as referred to the earlier tweet. Basically, my AI timelines are about 5 to 10 times pessimistic with regards to what you'll find on your neighborhood San Francisco AI house party or your Twitter timeline, but still quite optimistic with regard to a rising tide of AI deniers and skepticists. Now, I don't think I'm one of those deniers and skepticists. I'm a realist, right? So I'm agreeing with him that so ultimately he comes down here and says 10 years should otherwise be a very bullish timeline for AGI. It's only in contrast to present hype that it doesn't feel that way. So I agree with him. 10 years, I think 10 years is actually optimistic. I think we're going to be more like 10 to 20. And even at 20, I think there will still have to be human in the loop. Now he talks about ML versus Ghost, and I'm not going to really go into that because that's what we're hearing. He talks about his critique of RL. Cognitive Core, my earlier post on Cognitive Core, the idea of stripping down LLMs or making it harder for them to memorize or actively stripping away their memory to make them better at generalization. Otherwise, they learn too hard on what they've memorized. Humans can't memorize so easily, which now looks more like a feature than a bug by contrast. Maybe the inability to memorize is kind of regularization. Also, my post from a while back on the trend of the models is backwards and why the models have to first get larger before they get smaller. So I think he says, on LLM agents, my critique of the industry is more in overshooting the tooling with regards to present capability. I live in what I view as an intermediate world where I want to collaborate with LLMs and where pro-cons are matched up. The industry lives in a future where fully autonomous entities collaborate in parallel to write all the code and humans are useless. For example, I don't want an agent that goes off for 20 minutes and comes back with 1,000 lines of code. I certainly don't feel ready to supervise a team of 10 of them. I'd like to go in chunks that I can keep in my head where an LM explains the code that is writing. That I totally agree with. I tell my developers all the time, you absolutely should be using AI to help you and write code, but you better understand every single line it reads. So if I catch my developers checking in code that they have not, and it's pretty obvious, that's the thing that's been the funny thing on the team is we do peer reviews on all the code that gets checked in, and I will frequently get a report about another developer that says, hey, this code that he checked in was clearly all AI. ChatGPT wants to be the new operating system, and that should worry us. In a single day, OpenAI laid out the two pillars of its next empire. First, signed a sweeping deal with AMD to secure no less than 6 gigawatts of GPU compute, an agreement that could drive up to 10% stake in AMD. Then on stage at DevDay, it unveils a new layer of mini apps that live inside ChatGPT, turning the chatbot into something much bigger, not a product, but a platform. Together, these moves define OpenAI's ambition with perfect clarity, control the power and control the interface. And he goes through a bunch of this here. When ChatGPT suggests which app to use, who decides which one appears? Zillow proudly claims to be the exclusive real estate partner inside of ChatGPT today. But what happens when competitors arrive, and we all know they will? Will placement depend on merit or on binding? Will we see a market where companies pay for their slot in the agent's recommendation or SEO for all AI conversions? So, that's part of it. I don't know about you. I trust Sam Altman about as far as I can throw him. And with my, being almost 50, I shouldn't be throwing anybody anywhere. So OpenAI is not just building software, it's building infrastructure with a carbon footprint and geopolitical consequences. When a private company starts locking up gigawatts of generation capacity, regulators should treat it not as a startup, but as a utility. He says, I'm not one more European obsessed with regulating everything. I'm just old enough to remember several previous experiences akin to this one. The world doesn't need another operating system that mediates access to everything. It needs transparency, interoperability, and competition. If we don't insist on them now, we may find ourselves living inside the most powerful black box ever built, one that doesn't just answer your questions, but quietly decides which one we're allowed to ask. All right. I'm with you in here. BS detector. The lie that AI companies fed us for the last 3 years that large language models could ever reach AGI is blown up in their faces. So now they have to look busy before their investors take flight. And this is from the information. The AI industry is entering an age of research focused on smaller scale experiments, moving away from scaling existing methods with vast computing power, says Ilya Sutskever. This view suggests disagreement with the current approach of many leading AI developers. Now, one of the things I've been saying here on the channel, and I hope you all like and subscribe and leave a comment because I talk about this frequently, is that we need to be working on solving specific problems with AI. These new LLMs are really powerful. There's a ton you can do with them. You have to put guardrails on them. You have to do tons of research. You have to know how to optimize them. You have to do a ton of different things with them, but you can make them very powerful and then integrate them into real software using real software tools so that you can build really impressive things. All right, back to Gary Marcus here. 3 years on, ChatGPT still isn't what it was cracked up to be and probably never will be. Again, he says a skeptis pre-mortem, right? 3 years ago, ChatGPT was released. It's been one of the fastest growing consuming products in history, got more press than God, but I think a fair case can be made that it is not what is often cracked up to be and probably never will be. He goes on to these 4 things. I believe that artificial general intelligence is achievable. So that's kind of interesting. I believe that there is at least a chance that artificial general intelligence will be of large net benefit to society. I don't happen to think large language models like ChatGPT will get us there. I do think they have users, but I worry about their cost to society. I think that the recurring core technical problems that we have seen, as discussed below, with LLMs aren't going away. Instead, they are inherent to the technology. He's talked for a long time that he says the hallucination problem will never go away, and that saying that an 80%, 20% hallucination rate isn't 1 out of 5 is not good enough. And he goes on to, to challenge these at great length. And Gary Marcus's writings are always very thought-provoking. But ultimately, his final thing is, if you doubt me or just want to laugh, not that one. So people are now very actively trying to put variations of large language models into humanoid robots, but I can't imagine any could do with what my daughter was able to do then, let alone what she can do nowadays as a curious, precocious 11-year-old. ChatGPT has had a good, though not great run. It's time for something new. I am for it. Ilya is for it. The time has come. All right, let's go through this one here. This is Tim Dettmers from Carnegie Mellon. You know what I mean. If you're reading this, you probably have strong opinions about AGI, superintelligence, and the future of AI. Maybe you believe we're on the cusp of transformative breakthrough. Maybe you're skeptical. This blog post is for those who want to think more carefully about these claims and examine them from a perspective that's often missing the current discourse: the physical reality of computation. I've been thinking about this topic for a while now. What prompted me to finally write this down was a combination of things: a Twitter thread, conversation with a friend, and a growing awareness that the thinking around AGI and superintelligence is not just optimistic, but fundamentally flawed. Purpose of this blog post is to address what I see as a very sloppy thing that is created in an echo chamber, particularly in the Bay Area, where the same ideas amplify themselves without critical awareness. One of my favorite ones that you hear out of the Bay Area all the time is that AI is already starting to grow at exponential rates. There's actually been nothing exponential about it. Only thing exponential about it is the amount of money that's been spent on it. Now, let's go through this. And again, I would recommend you go through and read this. But the future of AI will be shaped by economic diffusion, practical applications, and the incremental improvements within physical constraints, not by mathematical superintelligence or the sudden emergence of AGI. The sooner we accept this reality, the better we can focus on building AI systems that actually improve human productivity and well-being. Now, let's break down just even this last part of what he said here. Future of AI will be shaped by economic diffusion, right? So we're going to have to figure out where money is coming in that can help humans, not just throwing money at it to try to think you could be the first to get to AGI. Practical applications. This means we use real software development practices and put guardrails and things around AGI so that it actually works to our benefits. And incremental improvements, not exponential, right? I'm not the only one saying this here. This is from Carnegie Mellon, right? Incremental improvements within physical constraints. The physical constraint is some of that math that I talked about, where no matter how much you spend on compute, it's not going to result in the same corresponding amount. So these are some of the things, just a few of these. And so if you think I'm the only one who's saying we're not going to reach AGI, I try to go through it at length. It looks like I'm at almost 20 minutes on this video, right? So at length, I've tried to come through and talk about why it is that I don't think that we will see this. For years, the AI industry believed in a simple formula: more data plus more compute equals better AI forever. That worked until recently, but now we're seeing diminishing returns that looks more like hitting a wall than a temporary plateau. The computational power required to trade AI has been more than doubling every 30.4 months since 2012, a pace faster than Moore's law, and is completely unsustainable. Pure scaling simply isn't the path to AGI. Attention isn't all you need, despite the famous Transformer paper title suggested. Now, AGI isn't coming, but specialized AI in specific domains, that's where the real value is. Instead of systems that try to do everything poorly, we're seeing a shift toward AGI that deeply understands one specific area. Here at Startup Hack, we build what we call real AI, systems designed using proper software engineering for specific business problems. A vertical AI solution with deep domain expertise will always outperform a horizontal platform trying to be everything to everyone. That matches what I've seen in my 25 years building software. Specialized tools consistently deliver better results than general purpose ones. This is the reason we've seen SaaS be so successful for decades. Companies are waking up to the fact that they don't need AGI. They need focused solutions to focus problems. So the death of AGI dream is actually good news for businesses that need real solutions today. Instead of waiting for someone to mythically superintelligence, you can invest in a targeted AI application that actually solves problems right now. The $1.5 trillion being poured into chasing AGI fantasies could be redirected towards practical improvement that deliver ROI. That's one of the things we're doing here at Startup Hack. We're working very closely to try to build out very real domain-specific vertical problems or vertical solutions, optimizing good hardware, not expensive hardware, good solid hardware that can solve real problems at scale. So customer software solutions built by experienced engineers will outperform generic AI wrappers every single time. We're entering an era where the AI hype cycle is finally collapsing into reality, and reality is where good engineers thrive. The companies that will win aren't the ones chasing AGI. They're the ones building solutions that will work reliably for specific use cases. Now, I'm curious to hear what you all think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a great conversation. So make sure you leave a discussion down below, and make sure you like and subscribe. Here at Startup Hack, we love to build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out if we can help. Check out startuphack.com and hear some great information about our services.
Hi, I'm Spencer, a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and 25 years in software development, I've transformed technology teams and products for businesses just like yours. As your fractional CTO, you get the strategic guidance of a seasoned technology executive without the full-time commitment. Perfect for companies ready to leverage cutting-edge technology without expanding headcount. My team at Startup Hack has already built advanced AI agents for small and medium businesses, automating complex workflows and delivering advanced ROI to human workflows. We specialize in creating custom software that connects your systems into a single coherent technology ecosystem. Our development approach focuses on tangible business outcomes. For one client, we developed AI-powered workflows that cut days off of human processes. For another company, by connecting multiple systems, we reduced processing time to increase their ROI by over 75%. We don't just write code, we architect solutions that scale. Whether you need cloud system architecture, data integration between legacy systems, or custom AI agents that automate your unique business processes, my team delivers results that exceed your expectations. Having led technology for a lot of companies and launched 7 successful brands of my own, I bring battle-tested expertise to your business challenges. Our specialty is turning technological complexity into business advantage. So if you're ready to harness the power of AI and custom software to drive your business forward, let's connect. Together, we'll build technology that doesn't just solve today's problems, it positions you for tomorrow's opportunities. Technology leadership, decades of experience, AI powered. Reach out today and we can help you. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer.